It's about that time. Thank you for joining us for another live segment of Dialogue with the Doc, where we discuss candid conversations outside of the pulpit. Now let's give it up for the host, Dr. Audra.
Hello. Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Audra, coming to you tonight with yet another episode. I'm super excited to be with you on tonight. So do me a favor, go ahead, tag someone, share, tag and share. You guys voted to have this crew, these guests back. We're short a few people tonight, but we're still gonna make it happen. As they chime in, we'll bring them on. But I'm definitely excited about this topic tonight. Welcome to Dialogue with the Doctor, where I am your famous host, your girl, Dr. Audra. So I'm so excited to be with you on tonight. Dialogue with the Doctor, as you know, if you've been following me so far, it's just a show where we talk about candid conversations outside of the pulpit. And I absolutely enjoy being with you. I've had some amazing guests in the past and we've had some amazing topics. But this topic on tonight, you want to go ahead and share. We have this amazing crew, this amazing panel of men and women of God. And we're just going to have some fun and talk to you tonight about the disconnect before the divorce. This is a very controversial topic, but I had these panelists on before and we kind of talked about dating after the divorce. And I thought it would be wonderful to bring them back on so that we can kind of talk about what happens before you even get to the divorce, the disconnect. We hear so many people when they get divorced and we wonder, how do you get married back again so soon? I just believe that the disconnect happens way before the paperwork is done. And so we want to talk about it and also talk about some things that we could do to avoid or maybe change the scenario. Come on, we want to change the scenario. So again, go ahead and start sharing, start tagging someone that you may know that may be dating, maybe divorced, maybe in the situation. I don't think there's anybody that could not benefit from what we're about to talk about tonight. So I'm super excited. I'm going to introduce these panelists. You guys ready for these panelists? Come on, let's get these numbers up. I'm going live. We're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube right now. So let's get these numbers up. Welcome. I'm welcome you all in as you coming in. Welcoming everyone as you come in. As you come in, go ahead and say hi. Go ahead and let us know that you're here. So tonight I want to introduce these guests, these panelists. They've been with me before, so they are no stranger to Dialogue with the Doctor. Well, one of our guests, he kind of missed it last week, but he is here tonight, and so I'm super excited to have him with us. So first and foremost, let me introduce my dear friend in the gospel, a great woman of God. She's in Houston now. Hello, Houston. One that I absolutely adore. She's fashionable. She's loving. She's a prayer warrior. She's an intercessor. She's amazing in all the areas of her life. I absolutely love her. Love everything about her spirit and her personality. She's been married. She's been divorced. Just an amazing woman of God. One of the things I love about this woman of God is you don't know what you're gonna get till she open up her mouth, and when she opens up her mouth, you're like, whoa, who is that? So I want to bring to our forefront tonight my dear friend in the gospel, my co-laborer in the gospel, none other than my sister Nikki Jones.
Hi, everybody. God bless you. Dr. Audra, thank you so much. I love you to pieces.
Absolutely. I love having you on. You are definitely the showstopper. Yes. So we're glad to have you. Is he beautiful, guys? Oh gosh,
Oh,
amazing.
thank you.
And so we're definitely happy to have you on. My next guest, come on, let's share. I see some people coming on. All right, Nakia, my face is on. My face is Hey, Pastor Winham. So my next guest on tonight is my daughter. She's one that I have to, sometimes, tap on it. But let me tell you something. She's just amazing.
Yeah.
And the word of God is just it just exudes all out of her. I love her because she is always gonna be who she is, no matter what. Y'all gonna see this hair when we bring her on live because she don't care. The big hair don't care. That's what I love about her. She is who she is. You get what you get. She is a woman of the word. She knows this word. Listen, this lady knows the word. Don't play with her with the word. Don't play with the word. And she has this preacher voice. So no matter how she try to talk, she's like, and God, you know, so I love her. She's been married. She's been divorced. She's been on with us before. She is a hoot. A absolute hoot. I ain't even gonna tell y'all a lot. Sometimes me and her just be on the phone. We just be chilling. I'll bring in my daughter before you on tonight. My girl, Minister Ebony Sherman.
Hey guys.
Y'all see my messy bun? My pastor told me she loved my hair earlier, so what don't need to change it. Huh?
Listen, big hair don't care. Your pastor says she love your hair. Well, I won't be. I won't.
Listen, it's finals week, y'all. It's finals week.
It's finals week. Okay, so we're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm excited. We have the man of God. Okay. So I don't like to really do panels and don't have a kind of a balance. We did have two men that were gonna be on here tonight. I don't know where my other brother at. I guess he must have ran for the challenge, but my brother decided to show up on tonight. I've known him actually for a long time. We kind of his brother and we grew up together. I know he lost his brother this year, but just an amazing man of God. He runs his own church. He's a pastor, ladies. He has been married, went through a divorce, and I believe he got something to say. And I'm excited to hear what the man of God has to say. I absolutely love him. He's one of those people that I kind of watch from afar, and I'm so proud of what God is doing in his life, how God is advancing him and just making him to be the man of God that God has called him to be. So I want to bring to your front tonight my dear friend and co-laborer in the gospel, Pastor David Chandler. Hey. I know y'all just love my introduction. And I mean every word that I say, because I love the people that decide or counting out robbery to come on my show. There's so many different things you could be doing, but I hear an echo.
I hear an echo too.
Okay, not sure who it is. All right, so again tonight we're talking about that might be you, Pastor Chandler. I'm not sure.
Bishop, we was doing all right before you got on here.
Wow. Maybe what's being said is important. We need to hear it twice.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. Well, we okay. I don't want to have to repeat. Okay.
Is it better?
Anyway, that's better. I think that's better. It's gone. So again, we're talking about something tonight that I would say is a very controversial topic, the disconnect before the divorce. And so we're all on here. We all are divorcees. That's not definitely that something that we want to really say that we are or be proud of, but it is who we are. Amen. And so I believe that we all have something to say about this. I'm gonna definitely give this panel an opportunity to introduce themselves, tell you who they are, just tell you a little bit about them. And we're going to start with Minister Nikki.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I was hoping you'd start with Ebony so I could just piggyback off of her, but God bless everybody. I am just me. I am Nikki Jones. I am from South Florida. I'm here in H-Town.
Yeah.
A new journey for me, and I am embracing all of it. Me and my sister Ebony had a long talk in January, and she was like, "Sis, we're gonna ride this out for a year." So I put on a new hat, and I'm here, and I'm embracing everything about this new place, this new season in my life. And I'm just ready to have a chat tonight, guys. I'm ready to talk about it. Dr. Audra, let's talk about it.
Yes, and let's talk a little bit more about you. She's on the women's department at our church. She runs the book club. She doesn't, and she could put together a tea party like never before.
Come on here.
So if you don't know how to do it, reach out, say, hey, because it's gonna be to the nines. It's gonna be to the nines. She is very talented, and very great at what she does.
Oh,
And
that's
so
so sweet.
I absolutely love her. Come on, Ebony, because I muted my brother Chandler until he can get that echo out of here. But we're gonna unmute him and we're gonna work with him tonight. Amen.
I am Ebony Sherman. I won't go through all of my credentials. I am a business owner, so I do believe in psychology and theology coexisting with one another. I do have my own business, Ebony SL Sherman. You can find all things about me at my website, www.ebonysherman.com. I am also your life strategist, where I help women move beyond sexual trauma, sexual assault, as well as I help people adjust their lives after such trauma. So you want to connect with me, all social media platforms, or either you go to my website. I am definitely excited to get started in this conversation. Not running down credentials, not tonight.
Not tonight. We ain't gonna do credentials tonight.
I ain't gonna do
All
credentials.
right, I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna let you have it. But she does have a podcast. Talk about it.
Yes, I have a podcast where all podcasts are located. You can find me. New episodes drop weekly. So you can definitely find me on there. I've written an ebook. I said I want to run through this. I've written an ebook entitled Letters to My Sisters. You can find that downloadable. Again, on my website. It is just a memoir of small short stories of me being a shattered woman, me being a woman going through transition, me being a woman who is put back together, trying to put herself back together. So you can definitely go ahead, download that ebook, share it with a sister, share it with a friend. I'm sure that it will definitely inspire you to keep moving forward.
All right. Now you gonna tell me what you gonna do on my show, okay? My show.
You got it.
No. I always like for people to kind of share who they are because people don't. There are people that are on this platform that may not know who you are. So I want them to know who you are. Now, man of God, you should be scared tonight with all these women, but I applaud your strength tonight. I want to unmute you, and I want you to tell the people who you are.
Well, I grew up downtown West Palm off Tamarind, so I ain't never scared. Might be a lot of things, but scared ain't one of them. I am Pastor David Chandler. I have been pastoring the New Hope Community Church for 16 years now. I have been pastoring. I am the son of a preacher, so I've been churched all my life. I am exploring this new season of my life. Like I tell everyone, no one plans or gets married to have a divorce. But along with that, I've learned how to have a therapist and Jesus to get through each and every one of the situations. And I am becoming a huge advocate for men and counseling. I cannot tell my brothers how important it is for us to have counseling, because we're taught from young boys to compartmentalize our feelings and everything else. And that leads to all kind of relationship problems and growing up and things of that nature. But I'll say to God be the glory. On May 6th, I will be graduating from Colorado Christian University with my degree in biblical studies. I am excited about that. And the plan is for me to then go on to Dallas Theological and get my bachelor's there. Listen, there's two things that I love. I love the Lord and his word. And then I also love the Miami Dolphins. So that was...
Now we was rolling with you until you said that. Oh, God.
You going to just don't say that when you get to Dallas, okay?
Right.
We got some Cowboy fans on here that would probably.
Oh, but they need faith too.
Definitely.
So definitely glad to have you tonight. We wanted to have you before, and I'm so elated that you made it on tonight. I think everything worked out according to plan. We had Prophet last time, and so tonight we get to pick on you. And I think that you got it. And so normally what I do, guys, is I normally send my panelists some questions, give them some time to think about it, and just mule over it. But since this crew is such a dope crew, right? I decided tonight I'm not gonna send them the questions. I'm just gonna spring questions on them. So first of all. We are all divorcees, as I said before, and I love the way Pastor put it so eloquently that no one gets married with the notion or the assumption of getting a divorce. We get married because we feel like that's who we're going to spend the rest of our lives with. But I wanted to bring this topic to the forefront because I believe that a lot of people. And all of us could say at some point we disconnected before the paperwork even got to the point of being paperwork. And so if we could stop or save someone from getting to the point of paperwork, come on, because anything that I do, I never do it with a negative tone or a negative connotation, but I always do it with what can we do? What can you guys learn from what I would say our disadvantage? I don't say mistakes, but what I say is our disadvantage. And so tonight, Nikki was married. How long married, Nikki? And how long you been divorced?
17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Divorced 4.
All right.
Separated 6.
Ooh.
Something like that. All those numbers, yeah, they match.
Oh, 4 and 6. All right. 17.
Yeah, 4 and 6. Yeah. Yeah.
David, Pastor.
I was married almost 15 years and separated 1 and have been divorced. July will be 1 year.
Now, David, for some reason, I thought you was like 13. I don't know why these big numbers is coming.
Yes.
You're the little brother of the brother that I went to school with. So please tell me. Okay, we'll talk.
Listen, I'm 41 years old.
Okay. Bless the Lord on my soul.
Come on, 41.
Your black don't crack.
What's it? 41 where? That's what I tell people. 41 where? Where's the 41?
Where? 41 where? Okay. And Ebony.
I have been married the shortest. I was married for 6 months.
Okay. And divorced how long now?
July be a year.
Okay.
Ooh, July
awesome.
be a year.
Well, I mean, I've been married a couple of times, so we ain't gonna talk about how long. No. I've been divorced for 4 years. We were married for about 3, this last marriage. And so, hey, listen, marriage is marriage. However long, I commend you guys for being because if I would ask, okay, so you said 6 months. In the 6 months that you were married, how many months would you be able to say that you were disconnected?
I would say that my ex-husband disconnected before I did, which forced me into a decision of, do I hold on to you while still trying to adjust me, or do I decide to let go just as well as you let go? And so I would say he disconnected, I would say probably like February, March. I didn't file papers until April, May.
Like 3 months.
Yeah. So I would say
you weren't playing.
Because my biggest thing is this. Before I married him, there was already things that was discussed. And I feel like at a certain point, how many times do I have to repeatedly say something until I'm just like, I'm not, I can't. Looking back, a lot of people, I get the question a lot. Do you think you move too fast?
Wait. I don't want you to get to there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'm done.
Question. You go to the question. I just wanted to talk about it. Nikki, you were married 17 years. How long would you say out of the 17 years were you disconnected?
8.
Wow. That's all. That's literally more than half of the marriage.
Half the marriage, yes.
David, 15 years. How long were you disconnected?
I want to say my disconnection, it was kind of off and on. And I would say during that off and on period, I would say maybe the past 9 years is when a lot of the disconnect was there.
Wow. So the reason why I wanted to ask that, because thinking about my marriage, I want to say it lasted, oh God, I lost count. 14, 15. I want to say it lasted 3 years. The disconnect was probably 2 of the 3 years. When you think about the length of time that you are disconnected, and I think about, you said you disconnected in 3 months. You was like, that's it. I ain't finna play this game.
Yeah.
You guys tarried unhappily, I'm thinking, at some way, or fighting. You're either unhappy or you're in the process of fighting for 8 years or better. What does that do to you as a person when you're married? And I hear this a lot, where people are married but they feel like they're single. I want to hear from you guys. Give me what that 8 years was like, Nikki, and what did it do to you as a woman?
So it became a blur toward the end because you're just existing, right? You are women, because we emotionally disconnect before we do anything, right? So the intimacy is gone. There's no intimacy. Women, I can only speak from a woman. So we're living like we're roommates. We know when the bills are due. We pay the bills, whether you leave the money on the table or send me a check or however it goes. This is the way we were coexisting for 8 years. If I had something to say that took more than a sentence or two, I would text it to him. Right. So I think all of that, that's the way it was set up. I mean, if he stayed out or he didn't come home or whatever, there was no questions, because I honestly, Dr. Audra, I didn't even notice sometimes when he wasn't there, because he was sleeping in another room.
Wow.
We were literally coexisting as roommates, and I became okay with it, because in my mind I was gone. I was just trying to strategize how to get out of there.
Okay.
Physical me, but the emotional me was already gone.
Oh, good. That's good. So emotionally, you have already disconnected. You've already left. Physically, so now you're battling with your emotions versus who you are as a person.
Right.
Wow, that's good. That's.
Can I ask a question, Dr. Audra?
You sure can.
I'm just interested to know, did you all go out in public at this time still? Like, what was that presentation?
Right. So because we were like the idea couple, I think I said that the last time, like everybody thought we had this great relationship because of things that were attached to us. If it was something that he had to go to or a family event, he would text and say, we would go in separate cars, but we would go there. And so when the actual divorce happened, like the actual me leaving, it was such a blow and a shock to my family and his family, because there was no.
They didn't know.
Y'all did a real well job of keeping it covered.
Yeah, we did good, honey. We were great actors.
Yeah, we did good, honey.
Come on, Pastor David. Tell me what those 8 years looked like for you, and what did it do to you as a man?
They were pretty similar. We got really good at putting on the front, put it on that show. She would watch TV in the living room, I would watch TV in the bedroom, or it would be vice versa. Stay up till she went to bed, because we had the kids, so we still tried to put on that front. But I lost myself in the whole trying to put on this show. And interesting enough, I saw this clip today that said that that men seek relationships where they can be respected. And that explained to me why I would prefer to hang out with friends, coworkers, anyone else but my spouse, because in that relationship, I felt that my voice did not matter. So I hung around people who who pretty much validated me, who pretty much, validated me, saying, you the man, you have this profoundness, you're very cool. But then I would go home and I would have to retreat inwardly because, there was that lack of respect. Because at one point in time, I used to joke around and tell people I feel like I'm a married single father because I was always the one with the kids doing these things. But at the same time, the mental stimulation that I was craving, I was not getting at home. So I would have to turn outwardly, at one point in time, I was at the karaoke spot every Friday and every Saturday night because I got that validation, and hey man, you sounded good singing that, and I wasn't getting that. So at the house, it was very cold. I wouldn't talk. I wouldn't share anything. I wouldn't, anything big happened on my job or whatnot. It wasn't like, hey, let me call my wife or something, or even something big at the church. It wouldn't be, let me call first lady. It would always be someone out external of the relationship that I would share these things with. And it began to take its toll on me in the pulpit, in my personal life, and everything, because who I truly was, I could not really express.
Wow. Now you said a couple of things that kind of jogged me. One, you said mental stimulation. You said nothing about physical, emotional. Most of the time as women, we feel like, oh, well, if we're not meeting his physical needs, then, but you're literally craving for the person that you say that you are spending the rest of your life with for a just mental relief and to feel validated. And wow, I got a double question for you guys after this, but I'm gonna move to Ebony so she could tell us what those 3 months, because she ain't play, she ain't wait to 8 years. Good, but tell us what was that time of disconnect, what that felt like.
It was really lonely, honestly. Because here it is, I was away on military order, so here it is, I'm away for about, this is going on like a year and a half now, away from my family. And here it is, I'm thinking I found my person, right? I'm thinking I found the man I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. He's done all the proper requirements. Let's get it. We've been to live, long. I know it won't gonna be easy. But he ended up getting new orders to go to New York. And so here it is, I'm in Texas. So now, I'm missing the physical part of him, but I'm okay. You know what I mean? I'm willing to make these adjustments. We knew what was coming. Cool. I'm okay with it. But then the phone calls stopped coming in. The FaceTime started getting shorter and shorter. And it became a text message marriage. And one of the biggest things for me was, listen, you're going away. I get it. But if we're going to make this thing work, we gotta get creative, and we have to make sure that we're spending time with one another, even if it is virtually. And so, like I said, as I felt him pull away, at this time, I was still going through major things in my body. I had lined up 2 minor surgeries and a major operation I had to go through. And so for me, I'm just like, hey, babe, where you at? And I would get these 1-word, 2-word, 3-word responses. I'm still going through school, working on my bachelor's. And so there's a lot of things going on at the same time. And so I was just like, well, if I continue to hold on to you, I'm going to lose me. And at my age, with my goals, with my career plans, with ministry, I can't afford to die this early on in my life. And so for me, I didn't have 8 years to give. I didn't have 6, 7, 12 months for him to make up his mind to figure out, do I want to adjust myself and communicate with the woman that I said I love, or am I willing to let her go? And so for me, I decided, you know what? I've given you all that I could.
I'm going to double back on you with that question, because I'm going to ask David and Nikki the opposite question. So I'm gonna go first with yours. Is, well, my disconnect was, I want to say it probably was from, I didn't take the time to get to know my husband. Honestly, I didn't. We didn't date long. We really didn't date long. And so my issue was a little different. I didn't know who he was. So it was like after we said I do, just like another person just started unraveling in front of me. Like, who was this? And so, I don't blame anybody other than myself. You don't meet someone and marry someone and that quick and not know who they are. So as his personality started to reveal itself and come forth, it just was very different for me. And so I was like some of you, Nikki and David. I would stay at work late. Sometimes I would sit in my car for hours. I felt like every time I would get in this person's presence, it almost felt as if I was walking on eggshells. The phone calls was eggshells. It was just how you doing today could set the person off, like literally. And so it was very difficult and very strenuous, but I had made God a promise. And I want to really talk about that tonight, how sometimes we make a covenant with God that God had nothing to do with. Because I had been married before, I made a covenant with God. I said, God, if you give me one more husband, then this time I won't get a divorce, because I was like Ebony. So I went from being an Ebony to being a Nikki and a David. I was quick. Like, I divorced in 90 days. It's over. You didn't even know we was divorced. I be talking to you on the phone. I tell the judge, I don't even know it yet. I'm being honest. So that's how I was. I didn't have a lot of long suffering or patience. So I said, this time. And so when it got really, really bad, I honestly prayed and asked God that he would make the decision, because I had made a covenant with God that I wouldn't do it. And so I want to talk to you, Ebony, first. Why so quick? Why didn't you give it some more time?
So like I said, my biggest thing was I had so many, I felt like major things that was happening in my life where I needed that spousal support, and he wasn't willing to give it. And the truth of the matter is, it became an option of, do I believe within myself that he'll ever give it? And when I weighed out, it might sound a bit selfish, but when I weighed out what it was that I was called to do, who it is that I am, my ambitions, degree, all that stuff. When I looked at my life goals and my life plans and those career aspects of things, and I looked at the way that he treated me in just a small amount of time in which we were together, I made the conscious decision to be like, you don't want to communicate, you don't want to adjust, you don't want to, and I'm giving you everything I have, and you don't want to give in return. I know when a fight is over. And for me, I couldn't fathom another 3 months, another 6 months, another 12 months fighting in a fight, and he hadn't left the ring. Is it really right or wrong? Should I give more time? Whatever. That's going to be up to whoever wants to discuss it. But for me and my life and that point of time, I feel like it was one of those decisions where, just like when I got married, God didn't tell me yeah, and he didn't tell me no. He just promised that he'd be with me and he'd give me grace. He did everything he promised he would. So I felt like he put the ball back in my court and said, hey, what you gonna do? Whatever decision you make, I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna give you grace, and you're gonna grow. I've done it all. You know what I mean? And so for me, like I say, for me, it just.
So you just made a decision that you knew that if you continued, it wasn't. You just didn't see it getting better.
I didn't see it getting better. What I saw was me smothering myself to make sure he was good. And if you and Dr. Audrey, you know me, Nikki, you know me enough to know you're not gonna smother me. I gotta grow, because if I don't grow, I'm gonna die. I'm too early to die. Like it's too much in me for me to die. And so it became a matter of, do I live or do I die? Do I live or do I die? Do I die in a covenant that God didn't even tell me to enter into? Or do I live and walk out of a covenant that God never?
Whoa. So now when I come over on this side, because my camera is showing you this. Okay, so Nikki, your situation and David, your situation are both different. Nikki, you guys were the status couple, the status quo. Everybody knew you guys. You had, I would say, some type of thing to uphold. You had to,
Right.
And David, you guys are pastoring a church.
Right.
You are literally standing for people, pastoring people, all of that. So I want to hear from those two different perspectives. No, Nikki, you're not pastoring, but you are the status quo couple, and everybody's kind of looking at you. What makes a person stay 8 years when they're not even there physically or mentally there? They're physically there, but not mentally there.
Well, the security, for one, financially secure.
Okay.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
because he had a great job. No worries. Everything is good on that end. So the security of, and then the fear of if I leave, because now mind you, he's all I know for all those years. Mm-hmm. So if I leave, where do I go? How do I start again?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who I am right now because I've always been his wife.
Yeah, say it again for the people in the back. Come on.
I don't know who I am. Like, I'm not Nikki. I don't even know who I am. I'm his wife because everywhere I went, that was so-and-so's wife. Oh, that's so-and-so's wife.
Wow.
Nikki, hi, how are you? Very nice to meet you. That type of situation. So it was always that mental battle. And then, of course, my mom's older. My mom's from old school. She was, the whole pray about it, this, that, and the other. And my mom was totally against divorce, totally against it. So every time I didn't have that outlet, to go talk to my mom about it because my mom, she didn't want to hear that. She wasn't co-signing that at all. Mm-hmm. And so, it was just like Pastor David was saying, you can talk. It's like you have to talk to everybody. You can't even talk to the people that you really should be able to talk to. I should have been able to talk to my husband about it.
Wow.
Disconnect. And then you don't have that support system.
And so you're mentally disconnected and probably physically because you're sleeping in 2 other rooms. Mm-hmm. But because the financial stability, you don't know who you are. You're trying to figure out where does life go from here. That gives you, did you guys seek counseling? Did you do counseling? Or did you at any point have a desire to make, like, I'm pretty sure before you disconnected, you wanted the marriage to work.
I did because I thought, you like Pastor David said, you kind of go back and forth. Like, do I want to leave? Do I want to stay? Like, I want to do what's right in God's eyes, and then somebody gave me a book on how God frowns on divorce or something. So it was just everything. Oh,
the saints that do that to you.
They was building bricks in front of me. I was like, Lord, I'm gonna die in Egypt, Lord. So I didn't know, Dr. Audra. I was confused. And so I said to him, let's go to counseling. He was like, I'm not finna sit in front of no pastor. I said, we don't have to go to a pastor. We can go to maybe somebody that you. He said, how is someone going to tell us about us?
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Moving right along. You said so much. You're helping. I promise you're helping somebody right now because someone's saying, hey, I just don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from here. This is why I always encourage people, before you get married, identify who you are. Find yourself. Because when he said that, he didn't say the one shall become one with no one. He said the 2. That's 2 whole.
That's
2 whole people that know who they are, know where they're going, know what they need to do, shall become one, intertwine, become one. And a lot of times, like you said, like you get married young and that's all you know. You don't know anything else. But woo, you said a mouthful right there. You help somebody now. I'm telling you, help somebody. Pastor. Well, I want to hear it from the man's perspective because first of all, you blew my mind tonight talking about you wanted some mental stimulation. My God. Girl. I'm gonna take your camera off.
The first thing I would say is my back, how I was raised. Before my father passed, my parents were married 42 years.
Wow.
So I grew up with that kind of a precedence, like, hey, listen, you get married, this is what it's supposed to be, this is how it's supposed to go. My father was in the military, and my mom stayed at home with the kids, or she had a little side job. And then when my dad was in a bad car accident and was rendered disabled, my mom picked up that mantle of going out into the work field, and my dad became more domesticated. This is what I grew up seeing this. So because my marriage was up, down, in, and out. And let me start by saying this. Nobody told me, since Nikki said that everybody want to try to keep you together when you're talking about divorce. Nobody told a 25-year-old David not to marry a 19-year-old. Nobody discussed that. Nobody discussed that. And on her behalf, in a span of a year and a half, she went from being a single person to being a mother to being married, all within a year and a half. I'm sorry. And then on top of that, you throw in she's now a first lady.
First lady, yeah.
That is a lot for a 20-year-old to have on their shoulders. But nobody was giving wise counsel, as the Bible tells us to seek wise counsel. Nobody was giving wise counsel on, is this the decision that you guys really want to make? And because of my perception of what marriage is, and because of what she was bringing, not seeing her parents together, and some those kind of things, so that brings in two different ideologies trying to clash together that just didn't work. So the reason why we stayed together is, one, I just how I was raised. Two, what is the church gonna say?
Say it again, Pastor, for the people in the back.
I don't want to do anything to cause my brother or sister to stumble. So I have to stick in this thing. And the church, and because we were not connected how we were supposed to be, the church never took flight the way it should have. It always flickered. You always saw the potential, but it never caught. And it didn't catch because the leadership we were not where we needed to be. Yes, we put on this united front, and it was there. And I tried to stay in because, you know what, like the little engine that could, I think I can. We almost had it this time. We went to counseling, and we tried to identify some things, and we tried to work on ourselves, and then try to work with each other. Went to counseling with the kids and trying to do this, but we never was able to really click, really to hit. And it's because of things in our past. One, we never really had a conversation about, dare I say, gender roles in the marriage. We never really had that conversation. What is your expectation of a husband? What is your expectation of a wife? What are you looking for? And
Pastor David, see, what you're not gonna do is come in here and preach on my show. You're not gonna do that. No, but you're talking good.
And it wasn't until, I want to say, year 14, in a casual conversation in the sanctuary of the church with her sister and my sister, that the truth was revealed that when we got married, she did not love me the way that I loved her.
Wow.
She felt that because of my father's health conditions, she said that she felt the pressure to get married when we did. That being said, you're 14. The reason why this road has been rocky is because it wasn't built on a solid foundation from the beginning. So it was never going to get to where it had to be because
my Lord
didn't want to be there in the beginning.
Foundation.
Pastor David, now, my God, you got the wisdom of a 70-year-old.
Listen.
I'm not afraid to listen. I done already been to my therapist, and I done cried, and we done been through it, and we done talked to Jesus and tarried for the Lord. And we forget that in Revelations it tells us that we are set free, yes, by the blood of the Lamb, but the telling of our testimony.
The words of our testimony.
We don't want to tell the testimony. We want just the blood of the Lamb.
Thank you, Nikki. Half truth. We want to give people half truth.
But that is so good. But it's so sad that it took 14 years for you to come to realization that this wasn't what I wanted ever in the first place. And what a misconception. Like, if you don't feel like this person is for you, but yet and still you, ooh, okay. I'm glad you're talking to your therapist. And but and the funny thing is, I've watched you through the years. I don't personally know your wife, but I've seen her, and I love the way you kind of put it. Is like, we're not bad people. We just weren't good for each other, and I think that's sometimes the assumption that we have to come through to, like with my marriage. We had counseling. We had to have we had all kinds of counseling. We had counseling come from the north, the south, the east, and the west. People that didn't even know us wanted to counsel us because they could see it. There was nothing that could even be hidden with our my. It was very loud. It was very loud. Nothing was quiet about it, and we were both in ministry, which made it even more so difficult. But I get that to me. What is the church going to say? For me, it was pride. I'm going to be honest, because y'all know Dr. Oz is always transparent. It was pride, because here it is. I met someone 9 months later. I married him. Now, I never told people that the Lord said it, but when we did get premarital counseling, we did. We did the right thing. We were not intimate with each other before we got married. We did everything right. So I felt like, and this is what I said, and I tell everybody this testimony, which is not good. I said, because I had never been with someone that was saved to the capacity that he was. Not to say that there's different levels of salvation, but anyways, what I assumed was saved. And I said, well, he's saved, I'm saved. We both love God. What's the worst that can happen? And there it is. Right. And so as I begin to realize that, wait a minute, there's capacity. There's so many different other things. Being unequally yoked does not just mean that we both love God. It does not mean that I'm saved and you're not saved. There is so many different levels to being equally yoked. And like you said, she was 19. This was like culture shock for her. She's 20. Now she has a baby. Now she has a church to stand for. And you, who were kind of breeded and groomed in church, church. You're all ready for church. You're already groomed and ready. And I think this is good, because a lot of women, y'all out there, y'all on this live, y'all seek pastors for husbands, but y'all don't know. There's a lot there's a weight that sits on these men and these women of God. And there's a weight that they carry. And if you're not capable to carry the weight and the capacity that they carry, you're the one that's supposed to be mentoring and mentoring to them. Like he said, I'm the head. And if the head of the church is not right, then nothing else is going to function properly. I've never seen a headless person just walking around talking about I'm fit. I've just never seen it. Like, I've just never seen it.
Dr. Aubrey, the disconnect in the beginning was so bad. My third year of marriage, my mom passed. 2 years after my dad, my mom passed. And the day of the funeral, we had an argument because I wanted her to wear a hat to my mom's funeral. And she was just downright just reluctant to put on a hat for my mom's funeral. That's the level of disconnect that there was in the beginning.
Well, I would have been reluctant too, Pastor. I'm sorry. I would have been downright disobedient. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Not on the day of his mama funeral. I would.
First of all, I bring it to light to it, but I definitely understand. But that's you guys having a different level of understanding, and so that's good. So to my first question, we're 48 minutes in. What were some indicators? And I think we kind of talked about that, but I want you guys to point out some indicators that you could see early on in your relationship. And you just said one, that disconnect and just the quality of just knowing how to gel together, making that compromise, or that, I wouldn't say compromise, I would say just knowing, hey, this is what I got to do for my husband to make sure that he feels okay. And what are some of the warning signs that we could tell the people up tonight that they may be facing or seeing? Whoever wants to jump out there first.
Go Eb.
Not go Eb.
Ebony only gave that man 3 months and she was done. But go ahead.
But I worked the previous 3 months, and I worked my butt off for it. So I guess for me, it would be the lack of information that he was willing to share. I don't think I've ever shared this publicly, but I'll do it tonight only because is that we were on the same AT&T account, same insurance, of course, blah blah blah. And he wouldn't give me any information or access to our accounts. And I was like, bro, my name, like my name and my car is on your insurance. My name is on that phone bill, and you mean to tell me you gonna deny my access to it? And of course I didn't outright flip out right away. I'm learning submission and patience and all that good stuff. And so of course I would, press, and he go, well, I forgot the passwords, everything is saved on my phone. And so it will become all these little white lies that I knew was lies, which would start to be indicators. Shortly after that, like I say, phone calls stopped getting shorter. FaceTime, it started to be, well, I was on a FaceTime with my daughter. So your daughter's a year and a half. Why you on FaceTime with your daughter for 2 hours? I got problems now. Let me calm down. Now I got questions. Now I got questions. Now I got something. So all these begin to be red flags that I am familiar with because of not just previous experience for my life, but previous experience of what I saw of my brothers and my cousins, my male brothers. You know what I mean? So I know the game. I know what you're doing. So it's either at that point in my life, I was like, it's either we're going to be grown and we're going to talk about what it is that you're feeling, or we can, chop it up. It's been good. I love you, but apparently I'm not what you really want.
Let me ask you a question. How long did you guys date before you got married?
Ooh, we was like a you, Dr. Audra.
That's what my business.
So we actually dated for 4 months. So we dated for 4 months, right before we got married. Now you got to understand, I'm military. Military and deployment, they just one of those things. When you find somebody good, you be like, bro, so when can you get married? You get married tomorrow? You want to get married next week?
Oh, okay. I need to go to Nia.
Like when you want to get married, and so
that's how they do it in the military.
When you know what I mean. And so we're 2 months into dating, but early on, within like the first month and a half, I got keys to the house, I got keys to the car. You know what I mean? Like I'm part of his direct deposit. When his phone go off. Now mind you, I'm well off for myself. I have my own career, got my own things going on. But it was one of those things, and so me coming into it, I was like, bro, ain't nobody ever gave me keys to that house this early on in no relationship, So for me, I'm like, oh, well, he's serious about wanting to marry me. So 2 months in, he got his order to go to New York. My words to him was, hey, this was fun and all, but unless I'm your wife, when January come, it was good knowing you. I bid you Godspeed. And he was just like, well, what if I married you? I said, well, that's the only way I'm going to stick with you. Like, ain't no questions about it. Of course, his response was, well, that's my plan. Okay, I've heard this 15 other times with 15 other people. What we doing? He proceeded, and I was like, oh, you for real, for real. Well, I got to keep my word because I told you, what I mean, what I would do. And, I kind of just made a little wrong turn. But, we back right now. And that's all that matters. So, like I say, my marriage was a little different. I had a lot of different circumstances, a lot of different moving pieces to it. But for anybody,
so you would say there was some deception.
There was a lot of deception,
hiding things, and so these are definitely indicators.
Yeah. Them conversations started to get short. Him starting to not tell you completely, because I would get like full blown paragraphs about his day. How was your day? Well, I went to food, at 3:55, I had formation at 4:15. Like I would literally get details about his day. But once he got to New York on those new orders, it was, oh, my day was good. You sick? Like I remember one time he ended up passing out at work. And so it's been 2 days since I've heard from him. And so when he finally calls me back, my first words was, I've been calling you for 2 days. What happened? Oh, I got in the hospital. Wait, I'm your wife. I'm not on your emergency contact. Like, so who do they call? What if you died? So at this point, it's now become a concern of your health. Sir, if you die and I don't know you dead, your family can bury you and I don't know about it.
Yeah. Jeez. Come on, Lady Nikki, with your real pretty self. Tell us some indicators.
It was just so many. There was so many.
The way she asked it for me. Okay, let's give the people a few.
Give us the top 3, Nikki. Give us top 3.
He wasn't saved.
He wasn't saved.
But
mine wasn't either.
Were you okay? So were you both saved when you got married?
Well, I've been saved. I'm talking about for real saved now. I'm for real saved. 23, like I'm for real saved now.
Saved.
Yeah, this is why another reason why I wanted to go ahead and get married, because like I didn't want to. I'm just honest. I wasn't one that waited.
So now wait. So when you first got married or first got together, you was the first saved, not the second saved.
I was
okay. So you,
saved.
So that means that sometimes we compromise a little bit when we that first saved, that second saved,
right? And so
Bible saved. That's what.
Yes. And so God, I don't want to.
No. So you kind of came in already knowing who you were getting into, but your mindset. And I think Pastor Winham said this earlier, that as your time goes along, you evolve and you change. And so now you've evolved and now you've changed and you're no longer that person that he initially married. And so now, is that fair to...
Well, he knew I was saved.
He knew
I love God. He knew I love church. He knew all of that. And he used to say to me, I love the church. They like church girls. They like that. That's what they like.
Let me tell you, honey.
Be perfect for the Mother's Day dinners and stuff. You know how that goes.
David, don't laugh at that, Pastor. David, don't laugh.
I'm just saying, Pastor, David, we are.
We fit that.
Yeah, I had the look that he wanted. I'm just the little church girl, and so he knew that, and so it was okay while we were dating that I was going to church and doing stuff because that was cool. But when we became married, it was like, now you doing too much church. Now you went Sunday, you trying to go back Wednesday. Why are you giving all my money to this church? It was so many different things. So he wasn't saved. And I think that's the biggest thing. I'm a person that I'm a big communicator. I like to talk, because if I don't feel like we've gotten to the bottom of whatever we're not agreeing about, like I can't sleep, I'm not really going to eat. And so that's going to be bothering me. So I can't function well with you in our setup. And so he wasn't a big communicator. He used to shut down all the time or just act like it didn't happen. And like the next day is going on and we still haven't talked about what happened last night. But you want to function like there's nothing wrong. And I didn't know how to do that. And so I just thought, okay, I can get him out of that space because I'm such a communicator.
Say it again.
I can get him out of that space.
Because I think sometimes when we're dating, we see these quote unquote red flags.
Yeah.
And as women, because we're nurturers and we think we can change people, but
you thought you could paint them a different color.
And you know what, Audra, a lot of women, I don't know about if they'll be honest, I had like a bucket list. So so at this age, so 20, I want to be, 21, I'm done with school. 22, I've started I had this list. 25, 24, I'm engaged. 25, I'm 26, I got the key, all of that. So I had checked everything. He was the next check. Yeah. If we're honest.
That's true.
And so I was dealing with all of that. And now, I've been brought him around my family. He done brought me around my life. We got to do something now. What we going to do?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, that's my last question. Pastor, because you're a man now. Talk to us from a man's perspective. Because women, we can say 100 things.
Well, I'm gonna just say that women aren't the only ones who have bucket lists. That men do have little benchmarks as well of things they would like to accomplish. They do. Um, I want to say, guess the most glaring red flag for me in the beginning was really the fight to remain an individual. And I mean, there was a real struggle to remain an individual. I remember trying to sit down and trying to discuss finances and all that kind of stuff. Nope, don't have no interest in it. Um, we had a joint account, and once we got gainfully employed, we went and got our own separate bank account. You know what I'm saying? And just pulled out. And then at that time I worked for the post office, and I would get home at 2 o'clock, and I would go pick up my the son, and we would be home from 3 o'clock, and sometimes she wouldn't come home to 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm not understanding. Like you got off at 5, like why? And so to me, those are the saying kind of glaring things that really just stuck out to me. That and that women aren't the only ones who try to let things grow. Because that's what I was told in the beginning part of the marriage was, she's young, she's got to mature. And so you're being told that. So at the time,
Wait on it.
you don't realize that while you're waiting for someone to mature, waiting on someone to mature to reach your level can also cause frustration within, and you become malcontent with it. And now, you know what I'm saying, you are very sarcastic when you say things or whatnot, and that can lead to driving bigger wedges in between that growth gap. So I think that's one of the things we really have to make sure that we watch out. And I remember an old lady told me, she was like, hey, listen, when a person show you who they really are, believe them.
Wow.
So those are some of the red flags. That fight to listen, ladies and gentlemen out there, when you have a person that is fighting to be an individual, let that person go.
And you'll hear it in conversations, because one of the things I can say, I can't speak for others. I'm actively dating and going towards marriage, and I'm very sensitive when we talk. Are you talking about us, or are you talking about you? Because, like you said, Pastor David, it's very, when the Bible says, well, the two shall become one, we know that anytime two things got to merge together, there's a clashing, there's a breaking, there's sacrifice, there's compromise, there's a lot. And you as an individual have to understand or come to terms with how much you're willing to give up to make this work. Or, like you said, now you guys separate bank accounts. I don't know if I want to talk about that. I have another show, and I'm gonna welcome y'all all back. It's gonna be called Red Flags, because I want to talk about them, because I think that a lot of times we see them, and it varies for different people. But again, women, we have this nurturing mentality. I can fix it. Oh, he's gonna be better with me. Let me help somebody tonight, especially if you're dating someone that's currently with someone, or because let me tell you this. This is one of the reasons I want to talk about this. The disconnect happens before the divorce, before the paperwork is happening. So most times, and I'm not accusing any of you guys of this, once that disconnect happens, as Pastor said, you start to begin to seek those things that you need from other places. Thankfully, he sought for his in karaoke. Hallelujah. But there are people that are not that strong, and they'll seek this emotional, this detachment, or whatever it is that they need from other people. And then now relationships begin to happen, and now you're entered into infidelity, and now you've added other people into what you're destructive. And we talked about this before when we talked about when to stay and when to walk away. There's a difference between a destructive marriage and a disappointing marriage. And I think sometimes we're just disappointed with the person that we married. We're just disappointed that they're not really who we thought that they would be. And then, as Pastor Winham said earlier, now I've evolved. I've grown into more of who I've become, and we don't match. I've grown, you stayed the same. or we both grown and we both grown differently. And so those are so many things, so many important indicators as to why things can happen. But I want to ask you guys this question, and I know we're over time, but I want to get this in because this is so important to me. We've all been married, we've all been divorced. Hindsight is 2020. If you could do it again, talk to us. Just tell us a few things that you would do differently.
For me, I'll go first. For me, I wouldn't have married him. Here's why I wouldn't have married him. Is because at the beginning of our relationship, because we're getting married so fast, my biggest thing was I only marry you under certain conditions. One of those conditions was marriage counseling. Another one of those conditions was I have to meet the mother of your children. Neither one of those things was satisfied at the time that I said I do. I strongly believe that had those two things would have been satisfied, I think I would have got a clear picture of who he was. I would have had a clear picture of what I was walking into, and a clearer picture of just all in all how my marriage would have worked. And I determined if I want to place myself in that spot. I feel like because I did not push him, and I did not push him for a few of the reasons. I'll just share this because, I believe it'll help somebody. I didn't push him because I was like, well, here it is. I found the guy. Is it really that big of a deal if, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with him? Do I really need counseling? Like, we'll get it later on down the road. Like, we good. I know Jesus, he say the biggest thing about him was, he had just started going to church. So he wasn't ready. He was a little thug, ran the streets of New York, whatever. And so for him, he had decided that I want to follow Jesus. Me, just like Bishop, I was born into it. Like, my grandmother's a pastor, my mom's a preacher, my dad used to be a preacher, brothers, uncle, cousins, so church is pretty much all I knew. Now here it is. You want to love God, like you want to choose to follow, this man that I serve. This is great. But I had no idea just how unbalanced it was, because he did not have the capacity to cover everything that I contain. And so for me, just on that basis alone, I wouldn't have married him because he wasn't mine. He wasn't mine. And so that's my point. If I could go back and if I could tell anybody, if you set standards, keep those standards. If they walk away, let them walk away. I promise you, it'll save you so much time. It'll save you so much money. It'll save you so much energy. Because I paid for the divorce. I was like, send it to him in an email because he wouldn't talk to me. You know what I mean? And so you'll save a whole lot of time. Set those standards. Establish that communication method. If you guys' communications are different, do not get married until you figure out how you're going to balance out that difference of your communication. It is so, so, so important.
I love that. I love that your evaluation of it is, first, I didn't really get to know this person. Secondly, I didn't keep my standards. I compromise. And we do it. We all do it. We all do it. We all do it. We'll get it later. We'll do it later. And I love that. So don't compromise. Keep your standards and make sure that you know what you're getting into, because you got to be prepared for it. I love that. Minister Nikki, hindsight, what would you do differently?
Just being honest.
Be honest.
What I don't like the way that makes me feel. I don't like that. Just being honest. Because you try to sugarcoat things, as Ebony said, because but I think that the honest you, that's the real you. And the honest them, that's the real them. Not overlooking certain things. Address everything. Address everything. Because again, this is a commitment for life. And one thing you can't do, you can't get that time back. I say it all the time. You cannot. Me and him talked last year. I hadn't talked to him in a long time, but me and him actually talked. We had to settle some one other thing, and so we had to talk. And so he said, I think about all the things that happen and all the time. And I said, yeah, and if I could get my time back, Because you can't get it back, ladies. You can't.
She said what she said, y'all. She said
what I said. So
said,
you playing, it's like you're playing this, it's like a game. You playing it, and you look up, you're 35 now. You're 40, and you still entangled in this foolishness and this mess, and it has sucked up all of your time. And so then you blaming God now because you ain't, did the things that your purpose has not been fulfilled. But God gives us all time. My pastor talks about it all the time. God gives us time. What you gonna do with your time?
And what you're not gonna be doing is preaching on my live. That's what you're not gonna be doing.
I'm done.
You did. You just all the bombs you just dropped.
Listen, done and finished.
No, you keep going.
Dr. Audrey, it's true. I did a series on my thing, my Tune-Up Tuesdays that I do, and we talked about time. And God has allowed us, he's given us, go back and read the word. God has given us all time. Pastor, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let Pastor talk. I think Pastor has something.
Bishop, closes out, Bishop.
No, this ain't no close out. Y'all got one more thing. No, but I love it because I think that okay, God hates divorce, right? Ebony said it's so good. She would have killed it before she married it. Not the person, but the situation. So one, we need to make sure that we're dating, getting data, making sure we keep our standards, making sure we don't change our mind, we don't compromise, that we don't get into something that we think that we're going to be able to change it. You cannot change an individual. An individual has to desire to change himself. Do not, listen, God, I promise you, Nikki said it's so good. Time you don't get back. We've been on here for an hour until y'all was listening. Y'all ain't gonna get the time back, but y'all got some good information though. Hey. But when the time is spent, you're not gonna get it back. And you don't want, the goal is to stay married. The goal is to stay married. And so take it from me. I've made so many mistakes. So many. If I could do it again, I would be like Ebony. I would not have gotten married. I feel like I fell for the okie doke. Literally, if I tell you the true story, we were supposed to just meet up to go to an event. And when the person got here, they had all their things in the car. There was a red flags everywhere. There was red flag on the play. And so I knew in my mind, in my subconsciousness, that wait a minute, this is not, it's too many things here that doesn't make sense. But then as women, or I don't want to say desperate, I don't want to use the word desperate, but we want to be married, we want to do right by God, we want to live right by God. And then we make decisions that God has nothing to do with. And like Nikki said, then we hold him accountable. And God is sitting over there saying, baby, I had nothing to do with that. That was on you. Now I'm going to cover you. I'm going to keep you. I'm going to carry you through. But that was your choice. Come on, Pastor David. Talk to us from a man's perspective.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying that, yes, God has ordained marriage, but not all marriages are ordained by God.
Amen.
I'm going to just put that, because sometimes I'm going to say this, being a man in ministry, I know a lot of my brothers who wed the bed. I'm going to just put that out there. They wed, they wed the bed. In my case, my situation.
Wait a minute, Pastor. What's wed the bed? I'm a little slow.
No, and not wed the bed. They get married because they want to get.
Okay, they get married. Okay.
I would say that I've always considered myself to be a person that I wanted to get married. It's always been a goal, a dream of mine, and to find that right person. I will say that 41-year-old David would tell 25-year-old David, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, I'm not just going to say that all the red flags were just on my former paramour, spouse or whatnot. That I'm quite sure I had my own share of red flags. I'm quite sure that I did. I'm not gonna deny that. But when you stop working on yourself, or when that person stops wanting to work on themselves to better themselves, you have to begin to start to question motives. Now, My cousin told me something last year right after my divorce. She says, we cannot look for people to marry who complement us. No, I'm sorry, who are compatible. We want to find people who are complementary. We want to find complementary over compatibility.
Wow.
And as I began to think about that, we always, we have so much in common. We have so much in common. And yes, you can have a lot with somebody in common, but does that person complement your current life and your projected life? Can that person there? Because you could be ordained by God to be the president of the United States, but if you do not have that spouse who is going to complement them ambitions or that path that God has set before you, that person will have you to become stagnant and plateau on various levels. I have found myself with all of this time put in that, man, there are things in life, benchmarks that I was supposed to have hit.
Wow.
But because I went for someone who was compatible with versus someone who was complementary, I have not hit all of those benchmarks. So right now, I am looking for someone who is going to be complementary for the line that God has for me. Because the biggest disappointment I would say that I've really suffered from the divorce, if I can be really transparent coming from a pastoral standpoint, is that there are people who said they believed in you and the ministry that God has called you to, but because you have had this failure in your life, they have walked away from you. Because, saying you've had this failure or you didn't handle the situation as they think you should have handled, or because you did not stay miserable. And I have
Say it again for the people in the back.
I have to tell people, listen, you were not there when I lost two brothers a month and a half apart from each other. You were not there when I was suffering. You were not there when I was contemplating suicide because the weight of everything that was on me. And the fact that you said that if you truly believed in the calling that's within me, then you should exercise your ministry of restoration and forgiveness
and prayer.
Because I did, Sister Audrey, I took 120 days away from my pulpit, 120 days away from my pulpit because of my divorce and the situations that were going on. I got away from West Palm Beach for 7 whole days all by myself so that I could have my therapist and be with Jesus, because I know what I was doing was not right, and I needed to make myself right and presentable before the eyesight of God. And I could not do it still preaching and still going at it and whatnot. I needed to get to a place where I needed to consecrate. And now that I'm at that place, I can see who's around me. I can see what God has for me. I can see the people who are for me. And I just want to tell somebody this, that listen, no matter how cool you think a person is or whatnot, when you go through your personal struggles or trials, there are always going to be that person who you thought was going to be there that's going to turn their back. Even people, I've had people who had divorces in my own church who have left the church because I got divorced.
Wow.
But theirs was blasted and all over.
When he talk, I get quiet, y'all, because there's I mean, I just love to hear the men's perspective. I think so many times we don't hear the heart of a man. And first of all, let me commend you for taking the time to step away. People tend to be so arrogant and feel like, no, I cannot, I can't step away. I can't walk away. I got to still do this. When God is saying, you need to get you together. You need to take care of you. And so I commend you for taking care of you and not allowing what you were going through to take you out. Because we talked about mental health 2 weeks ago. That was 2 segments ago. But I definitely, I commend you a lot. And knowing that that's absolutely the truth, that people, they don't want you to be happy no more. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this show. Listen, we divorced, but guess what? I'm divorced. I've been divorced 4 years. I'm happily dating, happily engaged, and ready to move on with my life. And guess
that
what?
should be celebrated. Yeah, right.
I'm happy. I'm happy. Yes, I've made my mistakes. I laid my bed, and guess what? I paid for it.
That's
Come on,
right.
his body.
That's right.
I paid a heavy price. I lost everything.
Heavy price.
Everything. In a week, my house, my job, my bank account, $8,000 gone. I paid the price for my decisions.
Right.
Let the people be happy.
Let them
Be happy, woman of God. Be happy, woman of God. I'm giving y'all permission tonight. If you on this line, I'm giving you permission to be happy. Go on with your life. Forget about the religious people that put you in a box, and now they put you have a label over your head because you went through a divorce.
Because they plant a platform that they can't stand on. You can't help me stand when you shaky.
Not just that, they benefit off our brokenness because we can't really clearly see. So now we're willing to overcompensate in one area of our life because we're not fulfilling another.
Come on.
So you're sitting here benefiting from my brokenness. So when I get fixed, now you got to actually look at yourself and see the fact that, you know what, I really am jacked up.
Right.
And so now that you've gotten yourself together, they now uncover themselves. And now they really see the fact of, I ain't where I thought I was. And then here you are, you're not overcompensating. So I'm done.
No, but that's
we're not doing that in this season. Be happy, be whole.
Be happy, be whole. And really that's my final question. Oh my God, you guys have really blessed me tonight for several reasons. One, I want people to understand that we have two different scenarios. Somebody stayed 3 months, somebody stayed 8 years, somebody stayed 7 years. 7 years for the church, 8 years for society, for the look, for whatever that reason was. It wasn't for love. And now in those 7 years, you're still trying to figure out, what am I doing? There are people that do that, Minister Nikki, Pastor Chandler, that become unstable. They could be suicidal. They begin to take all kinds of self-medicated things to try to cope, to get through what they're really just being torn apart from. And do I believe in divorce? No, I don't. I don't believe in it. But do I believe that God has given us a grace? Absolutely. He has. First of all, he's sovereign. So first of all, he know you. He said, I know your thoughts that are far off. I knew what you was going to do before you even did it. But because I love you so much, I slap you over your head, but I got a plan already, provision already made for you and prepared for you on the other side. So don't live with the stigma if you do make that decision that this is not working anymore. Because there's some things, as Pastor Chandler said, that's just not going to work. You can get the counseling. You can do everything in your power. And like Minister Ebony said before, God didn't ordain it in the first place. And now you're losing who you are trying to make the people happy. Because they don't do what they want to do. They're not going to do that for you. And Pastor Chandler, I promise you, I commend you. Last question. We're going to get out of here. Going forward, I'm dating. I don't know if y'all want to share if y'all dating or not. That's y'all business. Y'all ain't got to tell the world. But going forward in this dating game, what are some precautions that you would take? What are some things that you would definitely do now that you did not do before you take that? First of all, do you all want to be married again?
I would absolutely love to share my life with somebody else without question.
I would love for you too, because otherwise
you sick of me?
Sick of
y'all. Nah.
Sick of it. Lord, send him.
Send him, Lord. Send him, Lord. Send him on down.
You're going to have to be anointed and appointed with you, woman of God. You
Lord, let the men of God come on down.
Don't y'all tell all my business. Don't tell
Okay. No. Do you desire to be married again, Pastor Chandler?
I do. I really do. I think I shared last week that I am currently dating. I shared last week that I am. And
I saw that. Trust me, I was all eyeballs. Yeah, just call me Dr. Nosy because I was like, oh, okay.
And I tell you what, what I am doing in this season is I am learning from the previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I am learning to be more open, more honest, more transparent, and I'm really trying to forge a friendship more than anything else, where like love comes and goes. I'm gonna say love is a choice that we make, and it comes and goes. You know, I'm always gonna have that googly eye feeling about somebody, but if at the core of it, if there's a friendship at the core, you can still fall back on that friendship. And so that's what I'm really trying to build. I'm really trying to build that friendship with someone who knows me, knows that, I don't want to say lying, but knows when, some men, we sometimes cover up our feelings. We don't, we don't we don't want y'all to know that we hurt as bad as we hurt us, that what's going on is really, but to have someone who can know me, can see through that, especially at church, you know how we are as pastors, somebody do something at church, I get told all the time, you got to watch your face. Mm-hmm. But to know that somebody, when somebody has done something that's wrong and I notice it, that they noticed it as well. I saw that when such and such did that you didn't like that. And that's really what I'm trying to build. And not only that, I have my children as well that are taken into the equation as well. So I am looking to do things bigger and better with this season. I'm definitely allowing God to lead. So if you see any kind of wedding announcement, Dr. Aubrey, you got I'm
coming because I'm coming to sit down with the woman of God. Because first I done fell in love with you tonight. Not in that kind of love, but I just love you as a man of God. I love your honesty, your transparency. I love your heart. I feel like you have an amazing heart. And just talking to you, I just see you in a different light. But as a pastor, your status is, different. So dating for you is different. It's very difficult. How do you make that type of decision that this person is someone that I would be pursuing?
See that where we go. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for that compatibility. I'm looking for complementary. Okay. So she's gonna be okay with being a first lady and all my political ambitions and things that I have. So since someone who definitely would not get lost in the crowd, but someone who knows how to be in the room but not take over the room nor get lost in the room. And
I'm taking over the room, so I'm not the one. No, I'm just
and being the first lady, you have to know, what I'm saying, that you have to be able to, saying, hey, I'm here, but I'm not, and someone who's okay, and that's what I've had to learn, that I have to find someone who's okay with letting me be David.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of pastor, outside, saying somebody who is okay with me being David, someone who wants to joke, who got some jokes to tell or whatnot, and vice versa, being okay with letting that person be themselves. So that's why you really have to see who these people are, because if you can't take them, if she wants to get a little loud and a little ratchet, and that ain't you, leave her alone.
Let go. I found that very difficult as being a pastor myself. When dating, like you said, can this person be in a room with me and be okay? Especially as a woman in ministry. My ex-husband was he was so intimidated by the call of God and the anointing of God on my life. I've never seen anything like it before, to the point, and I could share this, I don't share much, but where if I put on a conference, and most people who know me, I like to dress. I like to put my clothes together. He would literally take all of my clothes and throw them out in the yard. Anything that he could do that could affect or cause me not to go forth. There are times we were driving to church. If I have to speak that day, he'll get halfway to church and turn around. Make sure that I don't get there. Make sure that I'm not timely. Anytime there was an opportunity for me to go forth. And so as a first lady, they have to know how to cover you. I always tell women of God, if you're married to a man of God, if his shoes are showing, it's your fault. You cover him. You don't sit in the pulpit with that and whatever going on at home, and you learn. And I got another episode with First Lady, so we'll talk about all that later. But I definitely commend you, and I love one thing that you said. I want to elaborate on. I always tell people build a friendship, because there are certain things you're just not gonna do to your friend. And you're right. Feelings change when you talk about love. Feelings change. What I want today may not be what I want tomorrow, but what I need is consistent. My needs are consistent. And so love, like you said, it's a decision. It's a conscious decision. It's not about how I feel about you, but I consciously decide that I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you with your goofy. And you got to be goofy to be with me, because I'm so, my fiance, he's like, you're just so goofy. But you got to let me not be Pastor Audra. I don't want to be Dr. Audra all the time, because and I'm not saying it's a facade. There's an anointing and a weight that comes with Dr. Audra. And I want to put that aside sometimes. I just want to be me. Just be me. And you got to be okay with being me. But I want to also, another thing that that challenge with us as leaders is meeting someone that could be okay with you, the David, and be okay with the pastor. That's where it becomes hard. Like, you like the pastor, but you don't like David, or you like David and you don't like the pastor. And so it's difficult, but it's definitely something that we can work on. Lady Jones, you want to be married again?
I do.
Hey.
I didn't, but I do. I'm dating an amazing man. Amazing man. I ain't never said it publicly, Dr. Audra. You know, he's amazing.
Oh, my son! Y'all
Yes,
trying to give
honey.
me the people in the back.
Go off, sis. Go off, sis.
Amazing. And
She
God
said
has,
what she said, people.
he's amazing. Yes. And we
Yes.
are friends. We're friends. And that was most important to me. We're friends. And I love the pastor him, and I love the regular him. And he loves the woman of God, me, and he just loves me.
Amen.
And I never thought I would.
Aww.
I never thought I would. But when it's the right one, Dr. Audrey, you know. You done been through the wolves, honey.
Listen.
So you know,
It's hot out in these
know.
streets.
Yeah, and I never thought I would say that, but I am in a place in my life that I don't want to be alone. I don't think God designed us to be alone. The Bible says that no man is an island. God didn't create us to be by ourselves.
Amen.
And so
And so some of the precautions that you're taking now that you're dating,
mm-hmm.
what are those things
Everything
that you look for, that you say, hey, you know? And I think I kind of know your story a little bit, but I want you to share with people, because you don't play. Nigga don't play. You worse than me.
Yeah. Yeah, no nonsense. You know what? That he respects me.
Mm-hmm. Respect.
That communication is big. Honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see that you can be a man without me telling you to be a man. Open my door.
Baby, my arms be broke. I can't touch doors.
I can't do nothing.
Fingers, everything broke, David. Pastor
I
David,
can't do
everything
nothing.
broke.
I want to, because I'm gonna be that lady that you need me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Nikki, real quick. My lady, I opened the car door for her, but do you reach over and open the car door for him? Do you reach over and push the door over for him?
If it's raining.
Yeah, she does that for me. When I open the door for her, when I walk to the other side, my car door has been pushed open.
That's awesome. Now you're teaching me something.
Yeah, well, Pastor David, I'm too sharp for that. My arm can't even reach out over there.
I got to crawl in the whole seat.
I can't. I ain't finna even go. First of all, I ain't finna go through all that record of my clothes. Trying to listen, sir. Open your door, okay? I'm a whole sheep out here in these streets.
Yes. Yes.
No, but that's good. So trust, honesty. You've set your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you've already experienced. You know what you want. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And Ebony, did we ask you already? You already told us.
No, I didn't talk about the dating aspect of things.
Okay. You dating?
I dating? I'm actively collecting data. So I'm not as serious as none of y'all. And that's my business.
Yeah, it is.
But again, and I think I'm still at this place simply because I'm not. I know what I did at previous relationship. I know what I did. I know the things that I could adjust and the things I could change. And so now I've reached this point in my life where if I'm not settling as far as ministry goes, I'm not selling as far as my business, as far as my career, then I'm not about to settle for my spouse. If it's things that I'm commanding of him, you better believe I'm gonna come with it, but I also need you to come with it. Because just like Nikki said, you have to create that place for me to be feminine. That for me, that don't come automatic. Right. And that don't come automatic simply because my experiences, and I'm also military. So the first thing they teach in the military is you always on guard. I'm always protective of me. And so if you're going to be that man that's going to come in, you got to create that safe place for me to be soft. Because I'm going to come in hard, but when I land, baby,
don't
touch a change of life.
Come. Okay, let me mute you because you go too far.
No, I mean, but that's not even a physical thing. That's a spiritual thing. That's a natural thing. That's a business aspect. You know what I mean? Because I know what I come with. I know what I carry. I know the abilities of me. But that's as a man, I don't want to always be the strong one. I want to be soft. I want to settle. I want to land. Right. But if it ain't safe for me to do so, I'm not doing it.
And I say this all the time to men who say, "Oh, I don't want to date a strong woman. I can't deal with a strong woman." But one thing I know about a strong woman, anytime where I live in a very nice neighborhood. I don't worry if I leave the house and I accidentally left my doors all unlocked. You know why? Because I'm safe. When you feel safe, you let your guards down. When you feel safe, you'll let your walls down. And I tell men all the time, if you make that woman feel, and see, my fiance was very, 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 very extremely successful at making me feel safe. And I was almost like, this is a bit much. He is very diligent and persistent of making me feel safe, because when the walls go up, boy, I'm talking about, it's like Fort Knox. You cannot get in it. This is done. This is done. Yeah. But it is a man. If there's a man on here tonight, if you desire this woman, make her feel safe. Make her feel safe. When you're in a safe place, you let your guard down automatically without any challenge. You let your guard down. For me, I think going into a relationship. Now, I want to ask you guys one quick question. I'm going to let y'all go because we have been on here for a while. Do you think that there should be a length of time in between your divorce and dating again?
I'll go first because I feel like mine was the shortest. So I think I'll take it away.
The length of time before you started dating?
Well, no, I haven't even seriously started dating yet. That's just my choice though. I tried it. Guy was amazing. Couldn't get over physical features. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. But I think that as long as you have identified, I pray to God that man is not on this live tonight. No, he's not on here. But he knows, so it's okay. I think as long as you have identified where you are, the steps that you took to get to where you are, and who you are, as long as you can identify those, and you're no longer bitter or hurt or however things happen, then I think it's okay for you to date. Now, if that time frame is a year because you had to go through counseling or whatever the case is, you had to figure out pieces, then that's cool. But if it was, you got divorced in November and you date by January, as long as you have covered the foundation basis of identifying, like I said, where you are, how did you get to where you are? And are you healed? Are you whole? Can you give your all to someone else in 3 months after just previously giving yourself away?
Somebody just said the next day. I can't. Just Lord. I'm sorry. I got
so that's my answer. So however long it takes for you to get to that point, however long it takes for you to get to that healed and made whole person, then that's true. Only you know though if you're ready to date.
And I think that's true. Because sometimes, because the disconnect, like in these people of God life, they were disconnected for 6 years.
Yeah, I ain't got 8 years.
They probably could have got married the next day because they already healed. Like you cannot be disconnected for 7 years from somebody and not be healed. Like the blow to someone that just went through a divorce that it just started, never really disconnected, but something bad happened.
Yeah.
They're devastated. These people like, listen, bro.
It's 8 years. They had roommates.
You need help getting your stuff. You know,
Honey,
it's
it's
different.
like
It's
the
different.
walk away versus the left behind spouse. Honey, I've been gone.
I've been out of here. I've been out of here.
Dudes is like,
I've
catch
been
me
waiting
at the
paperwork.
corner. I was gone 2 weeks ago. 2 years ago. I was gone 5 years ago. We were just paying rent. No, but I mean, you know, on the funny side, but it's true. Like, so what do you say, Minister Nikki? Is a good.
I don't think it's a time. I just think it's when you're ready, when you're.
But
healed.
people will literally, like Pastor Chandler. It's been a year, or less than a year. People will fight you. Like, bruh, it ain't even been a year yet.
It ain't to y'all. It has not. What for
me?
For him, it's been 8 years.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to share this. I want to share this. What I found out that the
wait. I'm sorry. Before you share, I'm sorry, Nikki. I cut you off. Did you have something?
No, I'm done. Whenever that
Okay.
individual feels that they are ready. So if it's 2 hours after y'all have submitted the paperwork and the judge time, help yourself.
Oh, I'm still out. Let me cut my mic off.
Pastor, I'm so sorry. I'm serious.
No.
Nikki's out. Oh God. Okay, go ahead, Pastor.
No, listen, I found that the older I've gotten, the more I start to care less about what people have to say.
You better.
I don't. Something about turning 40. It's just like
that 40 club. Come on.
I really do think that it's really depending on that individual and that circumstance. Because how can I put this? I know some people who have gotten into relationships and they hadn't even filed for divorce. They not living together. They're not living with that spouse, but they ain't filed for divorce either. And they in full-fledged relationships, you know what I'm saying, have to get divorced before they get married again. So it's really up to that individual and that person and that circumstance, you know what I'm saying, you know, and so what, it ain't been a year for me yet. You know what I'm saying? I call it my July 10th.
And that's your business, Pastor.
It is. I just wanted the world to know. He said what he said. He got him a little lady. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
I will protect my peace at all costs. And I'm going to just leave it there.
That's it. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because guess what? Only you know. Now, my situation was different because I have been married a couple times. So I had to get me together. I had to say, because I said to myself, I said, wait a minute, Audra, now you're the common denominator in these situations. You need to get you together. So I did take some time to get me together. But like you said, for somebody else, the paperwork has been done for a year, but it's really been over for 8 years. And so people, stop judging people, leave people alone. You know, I think healing is individualized. I don't think it's you know, I don't think nowhere does it say that it takes 90 days to heal and 120 days to get there's no book that says that. Some people are healed instantaneously because now the burden and the grief that they were going through is over. Listen, I have had an amazing time with you guys on tonight. I hope we helped somebody. I believe we have. This has been long forthcoming. This amazing crew. We've had about 20 people sticking with us all night. We talked about the precautions. We talked about what we would have done differently. We talked about everything. I want you guys to make sure that somebody watches the replay. There were so many different nuggets dropped tonight. And listen, y'all, don't be in the Man of God inbox. The man said he got him a little lady now. Let the man leave him alone. Leave him alone. He over here sounding all articulate, and I told Ebony to stop by 5 times because she over there shaking that butt on her head. The man is 40, and he got him a little lady.
It's I want to look at Mama, you know.
Prayerfully, if she's watching, we greet you tonight.
Yes.
Come on,
and I am so proud of my sister. Listen, I'm proud of her. She's like, listen, I have an amazing man. So for all y'all, get out her inbox. Leave alone. Now that other one over there with the bun, you know, she
y'all better tip lightly in her inbox. You're exposing. Come playing with
So
sis.
she gonna be on here telling the world, listen,
Listen,
he
do a
ain't
whole
sleeping
lot about
right.
you.
You know? No,
And
I
never
love
mention
to.
your name.
She ain't gonna say
Dr.
that.
Aubrey, just real quickly about you talking about getting over. Remember, Israel only mourned Moses for 30 days. I'm just going to put that out there.
Come on, Bible.
Come on, Bible.
Come on, listen, now you call it scriptures. You really go. They really gonna be in your ear. No, I love it. No, it's true. I think we need to let people be people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what it took. You don't know what they went through. I think a lot of people were upset with me. A lot of people were mad, but they weren't getting woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning, getting called everything other than your name. They weren't getting dragged out of the bed. They wasn't getting spoiled milk pulled over their good new hairdo and soda thrown in their face. They wasn't waking up to the furniture in the yard or seeing the furniture pushed down the street. Nobody knows what you went through. Nobody knows what you were going through. I knew when my neighbor told me, and she didn't even know me, she said, "Sweetie, you need to get a divorce." When the police came to the house, the police told me, he said, I ain't never told nobody this, but ma'am, I think you need to get a divorce. And the Lord was speaking through everybody that I saw, people that I didn't even know. And so when people don't know your story, y'all leave people alone. Dr. Audra is saying tonight. Yes, ma'am.
Can I say this, Dr. Audra? And of course, we don't promote divorce.
We don't.
Fair to say that. But I say that it's okay to walk away at the point that you identify that it's wrong.
Right.
Like you don't have to go through the 15 years and the 8 years of disconnect. You don't have to go through the 17 years and the 7 years of disconnect. You do not have to do that. Because I'll just share this with you. When I walked away, I became so much better and lighter. I graduated top of my class in undergrad, moved to a new city, joined a new ministry. My bank account, bless his name. Business I established, bought a brand new car last year. And these are all the things that I've done after I walked away. So I want to tell you that if you're in something that God did not ordain, it's okay to walk away. Because when you walk away, you'll walk into that grace and that favor that he's established for you. I run a successful business. I'm working on 2 master degrees. Come on. I mean, again, we're not promoting divorce. And this goes for if you're in a long-term relationship. If you're in something,
dating,
can I tell you that you're not stuck? I just feel like ministering to somebody right now.
Right.
You're not stuck. You can walk away because there's this thing called grace that is there waiting for you to walk away, for the blessings of God to come and overtake you. I'm done. I didn't mean, but I just
no, it's true because people are saying that's why I wanted to talk about the reasons why we stay as long as we stay. And Pastor David said something that was so amazing. If that person does not have the compatibility, you may be missing your season because they're holding you up.
Absolutely.
And you're right. As soon as now, I didn't divorce him. Hallelujah. He divorced me. But hallelujah. After that, I saw my ministry take off. I saw sometimes God is just saying, I can't bless you where you are. And no, I don't promote divorce. I am the biggest person to push people to stay together. If you got in it, work on it. Work on it. But if you come to the point where it's irretrievably broken and you're starting to lose who you are, then you have to make a decision. Amen. I had a good time tonight. Y'all had a good time. Yeah, we had like 20-some people just hanging with us tonight. I love this group of people. Thank you all so much for being with me on tonight. Accepting this assignment. And saying, hey, I want to just talk about it. Everybody's not being transparent. That's why I do dialogue with the doctor, because we can't go to the pastor and say, Pastor, this can, you can, but let's talk about it. Let's bring some light to the situation. I'm wishing you guys Godspeed in your new relationships. I'm hoping to see some wedding bells soon. I have not planned my wedding yet. We did decide we would date for a year and we would be engaged for a year, and we're almost at that year. Hello,
Audrey, you look so happy too. I just want to say the glow, honey. honey, is
I mean, you see it, Nikki.
it's real. You hear
It's
me?
real.
It's
The
so
glow is
beautiful.
real.
It's and you can contest and Pastor David, you can contest. I see the smile on his face. I
Yeah.
saw him go through losing his brother. I went to school with his brother. I can't, you don't know who's watching you, Pastor. You don't know who has their eyes on you, and you never broke. You never had this, losing it on social media. You never broke, and that's contestable. That is very, very honorable for you as a young man, because you're still young, to have been in ministry as long as you have, and to go through what you've gone through. But I see so much light. I can see you bright. I can see you happy. I was so glad when you posted that yesterday. I was like, hey, no, I haven't posted my boo on Facebook. Okay, they bold over here. But because the person I date, we're both pastors, I just tend to not. I don't want it yet. I don't want y'all conversation.
Right.
We don't have a private. We don't have a secret relationship. We have a private relationship.
I love
We're
it.
not a secret. Everywhere you see him, you see me. Where you see me, you see him.
Exactly.
So we definitely we're out. We're together, but we're not ready to share that yet with the world. And I'm just not that person anyways. Social media is for my business, it's for my church, it's for ministry.
It's for laughs.
And when I'm ready to share my life, I think I learned that from my previous marriage, because he made social media. Boy, we had a whole, and listen, you could have sat down, ate your popcorn, and it was a story. So don't judge me, people, please. I went through a rough time with social media when I was married before, and no, I'm not trying to hide anybody. He's not a secret.
And Dr. I'll just say to you, I'll just say this to you guys, is that it was hard for me to do that post. It was really, really hard. It really was. But I wanted to take that opportunity to celebrate her on her birthday.
Oh, I love it.
I wanted to do that. So
she out here, woman of God. He did.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, woman of God.
Don't stop.
Our saying is court in private, court in secret, date in private, pop out married. That's.
Well, people didn't know. Social media cousins, aunties didn't know I was married until I posted it, and I didn't post I was married until 2 months after I was married. So for me, I am huge. As though you see me publicly, but you see me promoting fitness or certain certifications I've accomplished. But as far as my dating life, that's private. You have to be really close to me to even know who, you know what I mean, who's in my circle. That's
and
just
I don't think anything is wrong with it, because I think that there is some level of validation that comes with it. But I just think everybody individually should make their own decision.
I agree.
And it shouldn't be something that's forced or pushed that you have to. Now, at some point, y'all gonna see it. Amen.
That's right.
As
they should.
At some point, my light just went out. At some point, we'll definitely make it public and make it known to the world. But I think that is a good topic. I'm glad we did kind of go there a little bit about social media, because I think most of the people who are really happy are not posting. They're too busy being happy.
It's too busy being happy.
They're
too busy.
And so I think it's either way. I love to see the couples. I love to see the people promote each other, and I think it is encouraging for people to see that. So I think that's great. But I think it should be a personal choice. I don't think that anybody should have to do that because you need to let social media know who I am. No, baby, I know who I am off social media. I know who I am, period, in his life. And so it doesn't bother me. And it's not even him. It's me, y'all. It's me. It's not.
It's me too. It be me too.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go. I posted a story when we were at a award ceremony I went to. Now his head was turned this way, and he was like, post it, Ebony. You can see how many people see your story, right? I ain't never really had more than like 300-400. When I looked at the thing, it was like 2,000 people. People are so nosy.
Nosy.
2,000 people viewed my story that night, Pastor Chandler. And I was like, where these people be there all the time when I post other stuff?
But they don't like nothing on your page.
And I get 2 people. But I post It was 1,891 people.
Wow.
I have 5,000 friends.
That's crazy.
It
That's
wasn't
what
even his face, Pastor Chandler. So
That's
I
what
can
They was
understand
trying
your
to
fear.
blow it up, Dr. Audrey.
That's what it
Blow
was.
it
They're trying to
up.
blow it up.
That's why
the
we
back of
made
the
the
head.
story, so they couldn't do nothing. But they probably screenshot and
They
all kinds of stuff.
screenshotted it. I'm
But
telling you.
it just showed me something. It just let me know people, But anyway, I love you guys. We're gonna close. We've been on here for 2 hours, but y'all are so much fun.
I want to say thank you for having me on. I'm upset that I missed the first go round.
We upset you missed the first go round. We talked about you, Pastor.
Yeah, I'm upset about it, but I am so glad to have shared this stage with Sister Nikki and Sister Ebony. This really makes me want to kind of put together some kind of conference.
Come on, let's
Well,
do it.
you know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
To really to really talk, to really share, and to be able to take questions from the audience, to hear, you know what I'm saying, and have it be very kind of unscripted. And one of the things that I really pride myself in is that, listen, we can go from Genesis to Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
But rather than be prophetic, rather than to be profound, I like to be practical. I want to give you something that you can use in your life right now.
That's right.
And so I think that I my prayer is that the conversations that I've been having about my mental health issues and things with my marriage, and it wasn't until I did a interview with Kitty London that people found out that I was divorced. And I told them, I said, listen, the Bible says that Joseph sought to put Mary away. How? Privately. And that's how my divorce was done, privately. Mm-hmm. And I just want people to understand that, listen, you don't have to be married and miserable. That is not what God
That is not a requirement.
Intended. And God, listen, and ladies and gentlemen, ministry shouldn't be birthed out of your misery either. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be birthed out of it, because
you're not gonna be preaching on my live, Pastor David. This is my live.
But we have to be open and transparent, and we have to let people know about we serve a real God, and we live in a real world, and we battle and we go through things, and being in leadership is not easy.
Talk to the church.
It's not easy, but to have these open dialogues where we can be transparent as we want to be or we need to be, so that people can, dare I say, learn from our shortcomings and red flags. It is a great opportunity, and I wish more and more pastors would open up and become more transparent, because a lot of times when pastors fall and they fall from grace and they have their whatever they have, a lot of times it's by their own doing, because you allowed people to put you on these pedestals and these platforms without letting them know that you are human, that you are man. Listen, I'll be the quick one. Listen, I done had cars repoed, my lights done been turned off. I done been through some things. But God is still, you know what I'm saying? It's all based on my poor stewardship, because God provides. Right. And just like Ebony says, since my divorce, I have found jobs that I have made more money at than the job that I worked for almost 10 years. I finally got that degree that I wanted. I finally am able to travel and do the things that I want to do. And it wasn't until I was able to stretch my wings and fly and not care what anybody has to say, because my brother Charles, who Dr. Audrey went to school with, he died at 46.
Yes.
46. When the year he died is the next year I turned 40. And I said, you know what, Lord, I don't know how long I have on this earth, but I want to live a full life that is edifying and glorifying to you. Yes. And truthfully, getting up there in my soiled marriage that wasn't pleasing in his sight, preaching to people, preaching over people, was not glorifying or edifying God at all.
Absolutely.
And I hope any young pastors out there, you listen. Clean up your life.
Clean it up.
Because you will be exposed. God will warn you. God will try to bring you. He will try to take you out. But clean up your life and live a life that is holy. Live for God, not for church people. because there'll be your members this Sunday and my members next Sunday,
I
and
hear
then over
you.
at Dr. Aubrey's church the Sunday after that.
I hear you.
I'm gonna send them back, Pastor. I
I
promise.
hear you.
I'm sending them.
True.
Who your pastor? Where you come from?
That's right.
I send them back. I send them back. My pastor has taught me well. Well, listen, this time has definitely been far spent. I enjoyed this. I am going to do a red flags. I'm probably going to invite some of these guests on here back for that in a couple of months. Next month, guys, next month is Balance and Boundaries. We have some amazing guests going to be coming on next month. I love what you said, Pastor David. We did mental illness 2 weeks in a row, and prophetically, the men of God said this is a conference, and so we are working on that conference that's going to be coming real soon. It's the meeting of the minds. So we're definitely going to be doing that. And hey, anytime you're ready to do that, you got that big old church over there. Listen, I'll come with my big red chair. Dr. I'll just sit there with her cards. Hello, somebody. I love it. And let's set up. Let's make it happen. Let's do some things.
Absolutely.
We're in the same city. I'm ready. We'll fly Nikki and Ebony in because they just, they love to travel. And we'll just have us a good old time. You got the big old church. All I got to do is come with my chair and be ready. All right, listen, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being with us on tonight. We got about 15, 16 people that stayed with us through 20 something. They hung in here. I pray that something was said or done tonight that's going to really bless your life and meet you right where you are. I think this is good for everybody. Join us next month for Balance and Boundaries. We got some amazing guests that are going to be coming up. I thank you all for your support. Continue to like, continue to tag, continue to share, continue to make sure that you like the page so you can see anything that's upcoming. And if you need these people, listen, normally after my show, your inbox start blowing up and you get friend requests. Yeah, you ain't gotta accept them all, but take what you want, take what you will. Right? I love you guys. Have an amazing night. We're ending now. God bless you all. I like to end with prayer. Father, I thank you tonight for everything that was said and done. I thank you for all of these heart believers that are on here. God, I pray, God, that as these men and women of God went forth tonight, telling their testimonies, telling their stories, that's someone that may be in a place of distress or maybe in a place of uncertainty, not knowing what to do. Father, I pray tonight that you will bring them clarity. I pray that you will bring them to a place where, as Pastor said, that they don't have to be in a miserable marriage. One thing I love about you, Father, is that you love us. You don't want to see us hurt. You don't want to see us despondent. You don't want to, as much as you hate divorce, you love us more. You love us so much more that you don't desire. You said in your word that above all things you wish that we prosper and be in good health. And as the man of God said, there are times where you're miserable. It affects your health. It affects your ministry. It affects your life. It affects how you raise your children. So Father, tonight I pray that you've given somebody that courage, God, to know that they don't have to stay in something that you have not ordained for them. But God, I pray that you will give them wisdom, understanding, even that marriage that may be going through. Father, we pray that you will bring strength, that you will bring them back together, bring them closer together, because we know that you hate divorce. But God, we pray tonight, God, that we sounded the alarm in the earth, God, that those that are needing to hear, God, that you are sovereign, you are all sufficient and full of supply. There's no lack in you, Father. And so because you're all sufficient, God, you're full of supply. That means that everything, every need, every desire that we have, you're ready to give it to us. You're ready to release it to us. So Father, we pray for a mighty release of your power, your anointing, and your authority. I declare in the key that these people of God that were on here tonight are walking in wholeness, that they're happy, Father, happy because they know, God, that you love them. And so, Father, I pray that you will cultivate these new relationships. I believe that this is the year of new relationships, new covenants, God, that you're bringing people together for your glory and for your power and your authority, for the mandate that is needed in the earth, because the earth is moaning and groaning for your return. And I believe you're bringing together power couples. I pray, Father, that you will keep our eyes open, keep our ears open to hear what you have to say to us for this time and this season. I pray that you'll continue to bless us and keep us. It is our prayer on tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I do tend to pray a little long, David. I see you about to go to sleep. But tonight, you order like it. I'm goofy. Don't pay me no attention. All right, I love you guys. I'm signing off now.
Good night.
Thank you all. Have an amazing night.